Single dad skipped his birthday dinner to help an alien single mom. But he never expected this. Danny Cooper had exactly 30 minutes to get home before his daughter Emma turned the living room into a war zone over missing birthday cake, and he was currently watching an alien woman cry in the parking lot of Henderson Elementary School. The violet-skinned woman sat on the curb with her face in her hands, while a small child with the same purple-tinted skin and impossibly large golden eyes tugged at her sleeve, and the whole scene made Danny forget about his birthday dinner waiting at home. He had seen plenty of aliens since first contact 5 years ago, but never one who looked quite so defeated in an elementary school parking lot. At 6 in the evening, Danny pulled his truck into the space beside the old hover car that was smoking from its engine panel and rolled down his window. "Need some help," he called out. The woman looked up, and her own golden eyes were rimmed with tears that shimmered like liquid mercury in the fading sunlight, and she quickly wiped them away. "I am fine," she said, in accented English that had a musical quality to it like wind chimes in a summer breeze. The little kid looked at Danny with those huge eyes and said, "Our car's broken and Mama says we cannot afford the repair." Man, Danny glanced at his watch, knowing Emma was probably already texting him angry emojis. But something about the way the alien woman held her shoulders so tight, like she was trying to hold her whole world together, made him put the truck in park. "Let me take a look," he said, climbing out. The woman stood up quickly, smoothing down her simple gray dress that looked like it had been mended several times, and she was tall, nearly 6 feet, with elegant features and hair that cascaded down her back in shades of deep purple and midnight blue. "You do not have to," she began. "I want to," Danny said and offered his hand. "Danny Cooper." She hesitated, then took his hand, and her skin was warm and smooth like polished stone. "Lyra," she said, and gestured to the child, "and this is Zeki, my son." "Hi, Zeki," Danny said, and the kid gave him a shy wave. Danny popped the hood of the hover car and immediately saw the problem because the coolant converter had cracked straight down the middle and was leaking green fluid all over the engine block. And this was not a quick fix. "How long has it been making that grinding noise?" he asked. 3 weeks, Lyra admitted, and her voice was small. "You have been driving it like this for 3 weeks? I had no choice," she said, and there was steel in her voice now. "I have to get Zeki to school and then get to my job at the textile factory and then pick him up, and we cannot afford to miss work or school." Danny straightened up and wiped his hands on his jeans while his phone buzzed in his pocket with what was definitely Emma asking where he was. "This needs a new converter," he said, "and that is going to run you about 400 credits plus labor." Lyra face fell, and she looked at Zeki, who was now sitting on the curb kicking his feet. "I do not have that," she whispered. Danny should have said sorry and driven away because he had his own kid waiting at home and his own bills that never seemed to stop coming. But instead he heard himself say, "I can fix it." What? Lyra looked at him with surprise. "I have the part at home in my garage," he lied smoothly. "I have been meaning to sell it but never got around to it, and I can install it for you if you want." "But that is too much," she protested. "Consider it a birthday present to myself," Danny said and grinned. "It is your birthday?" Zeki piped up. "Sure, is Buddy turning 38 today?" "Then you should be with your family," Lyra said firmly. "I am helping a neighbor," Danny said, "and that counts." He did not mention that his ex-wife had moved 3 states away last year, or that Emma was probably burning dinner right now because she had inherited exactly 0 of his cooking skills. "Give me your address and I will tow this to my place tonight and have it ready by tomorrow afternoon," he said. Lyra stared at him for a long moment, and Danny could see her weighing pride against necessity, and necessity won. She pulled out a battered datapad and showed him her address, which was in the low-income housing district on the east side of town, where most of the refugee aliens had settled. After the war, Danny recognized the area because he delivered furniture there sometimes for his day job. "Okay," he said, "and I will need your comm code to let you know when it is done." She gave it to him, and their fingers brushed as she handed him the datapad, and Danny felt a strange flutter in his chest that he had not felt in years. "Thank you," she said quietly. Zeki grabbed his mother's hand and said, "Mama, can we walk home? It is too far, baby," Lyra said. "How far?" Danny asked. 8 kilometers, she admitted. Danny looked at the darkening sky and then at the little kid who was already looking tired. "Let me give you a ride," he said. No, we have taken too much, Lyra protested. It is on my way. Danny lied again because it absolutely was not on his way. 20 minutes later, Danny pulled up in front of a run-down apartment building with flickering lights and cracked concrete, and Lyra gathered, Saki, who had fallen asleep in the back seat. Thank you, Danny, she said again, and her eyes met his. You already said that, he replied with a smile. I know, but I mean it, she said, and humans have a saying about actions speaking louder than words. And your actions today spoke very loudly. Danny felt his ears get hot and he scratched the back of his neck. Just being decent, he mumbled. Decent is rare, she said softly, and then she carried Zeke toward the building. Danny watched until they disappeared inside. Then he drove home where Emma was waiting with crossed arms and cold pizza. You are late, she announced. I know, sorry. Danny said, It is your birthday. Dad, we were supposed to do dinner. I know, Em, but there was this woman who needed help. Emma rolled her eyes in that perfect teenage way she had mastered. You and your hero complex, she muttered. But there was fondness in her voice. Danny spent the next day tracking down a coolant converter because he had absolutely not had one sitting in his garage, and it cost him 300 credits he could not really spare. But he thought about Lyra crying in that parking lot and bought it anyway. He installed it in his garage while Emma did homework at the kitchen table, and when he tested the hover car, the engine purred like it was brand new. He sent Lyra a message that her car was ready, and she responded almost immediately asking if she could pick it up after work. Danny said sure and spent the rest of the evening pretending he was not checking his phone every 5 minutes. She arrived at 7 with Zeki holding her hand, and Danny had cleaned up the garage and even swept the floor, which Emma had noticed with raised eyebrows. Here are the keys, Danny said, and handed them over. How much do I owe you? Lyra asked, reaching for her data pad. Nothing, Danny said. What? No, I cannot. It is done already, Danny interrupted. Please, she said, and her voice cracked slightly. Let me pay you something. You can buy me coffee sometime, Danny said, and immediately wanted to take it back because that sounded like he was asking her out, which he absolutely was not doing. Lyra blinked those golden eyes at him, and a small smile curved her lips. Coffee, she repeated. Yeah, you know, the human drink, Danny said lamely. Know what coffee is, she said, and her smile grew. Tomorrow morning, Zeke has a half-day at school and I am off work, and there is a cafe near the textile district. Danny found himself nodding before his brain caught up. Sounds good, he managed. The next morning, Danny put on a clean shirt and Emma noticed immediately. You are meeting the alien lady, she said with a knowing grin. Her name is Lyra, and it is just coffee. Danny protested. Sure, Dad, Emma said. And have fun on your not date. Danny met Lyra at the cafe, and she was wearing a blue dress that brought out the purple tones in her skin, and her hair was braided in an intricate pattern, and Danny suddenly felt underdressed in his jeans and button-down. You look nice, he said. As do you, she replied. They sat outside where the morning sun was warm, and Lyra ordered something complicated with foam, and Danny got plain black coffee. Thank you again for the car, she said. Stop thanking me, Danny said. Why, she asked. Because you are making me sound like a better person than I am. He admitted. Are you not a good person, she asked with a slight tilt of her head. I am okay, Danny said. You helped a stranger without being asked, Lyra said. That is more than okay. She sipped her coffee, and Danny noticed the delicate way she held the cup. Zeki would not stop talking about the nice human man who fixed our car, she said with a soft laugh. He is a good kid. Danny said. He is everything to me, Lyra said, and her expression grew serious. His father died in the war on our homeworld, and we came here with nothing, and sometimes I wonder if I made the right choice bringing him to a planet where we are strangers. You made the right choice, Danny said firmly. How do you know, she asked. Because you are here, and you are fighting for him, and that is what good parents do, he said. Your daughter Emma, she asked. Yeah, just the two of us, Danny said. Her mother and my ex-wife decided she wanted a different life, and that life did not include us. So Emma and I figured it out together. I am sorry, Lyra said. Don not be, Danny said. We are good, and Emma is turning into an amazing person despite having me as a role model. I think she is lucky to have you," Lyra said. They talked for 2 hours about everything and nothing about Lyra homeworld with its 3 moons and purple skies, about Danny furniture delivery job, and his dream of opening his own workshop someday, about Zeki, who loved Earth cartoons, and Emma, who wanted to study xenobiology. When Danny finally looked at his watch, he was shocked. "To see how much time had passed, I should go," he said reluctantly. "Me too," Lyra said, but she did not move. "Can we do this again?" Danny asked. "Coffee," she said, "or dinner," he said, taking a chance. "Dinner would be nice," she replied, and her smile was radiant.